This is the QPP News Team with Sandy, Susan, and Dr. Paul, broadcasting live today from Telligen headquarters. Welcome to MIPS Tips for Eligible Clinicians. This first segment of MIPS Tips was designed to help providers like yourself, physicians, practice managers, and other support staff best prepare for the new Medicare incentive program, the Quality Payment Program, or QPP.
So, Dr. Paul, the way I understand it, how doctors get paid changes dramatically in 2019 when QPP takes effect.
That's correct, Susan. We'll see the current Medicare Part B fee-for-service reimbursement, which is currently based on volume, transition over to reimbursement based on value and outcomes. There are two paths from which an eligible clinician can choose to participate, either in an APM, or alternative payment model, or MIPS, the Merit-Based Incentive Payment Program. CMS estimates that for the first 2 years, 2019 and 2020, over 80% of the eligible clinicians will be participating in the MIPS track.
And that's exactly why we've started the QPP News Team series with the top 10 MIPS tips to prepare for QPP. It's also important to understand that just because the payment adjustment doesn't take effect until 2019, the performance period and data collection begins January 1st, 2017, which is right around the corner.
Wow, that is just around the corner. But it's not too late to begin positioning your practice for a new payment system. Sandy, you have over 20 years experience in physician practice management. Would you put your office manager hat back on and share some simple tips that a practice can start right now to better prepare for these changes as we await the final rule to come out?
Of course, Dr. Paul. I'd be happy to put my office manager's hat back on. Now is really the time to begin in the process of positioning yourself and your practice to succeed under this new payment system. The first tip sounds very simple, but it's to educate and engage your entire team. All eligible clinicians and practice leadership administration, they need to educate themselves. You can do this by reading as much as you can about MACRA and QPP and attending webinars, including those sponsored by CMS and professional organizations. Also look to CMS website for fact sheets and educational resources. Then you need to engage. Engage all your fellow providers and your practice staff. If you don't have everyone on board, it's really hard to move forward. From my experience, practices that perform the best in meaningful use and other transformation type activities are those who took the necessary steps to engage their entire teams.
Sandy, you make it sound really simple, but we know it's not. There is so much material out there right now on the web. It can get confusing. In fact, I've heard it called MACRA madness. I've actually read some material that's misleading or even confusing. Could you give us some suggestions?
Sure, because it isn't simple. And there are a lot of websites out there and a lot of misinformation. So I would really recommend that you start with the CMS developed website on the Quality Payment Program. And then they've added some really nice resources and materials, fact sheets, and webinars there. Also look to your professional organizations like the AMA, the ACP, HIMSS, for accurate information. Also look to Telligen as a resource. Our technical assistance teams have developed some informational webinars and resources along with our corporate website blog. Like us on Facebook and LinkedIn and follow us on Twitter.
That is a lot of good stuff. But what about engaging staff? Are there any tips for that? In my clinic, for instance, we have monthly staff meetings. Would that be a good place to start?
Absolutely perfect place to start. I definitely would reach out to your current meaningful use and PQRS champions, make sure they're still on board and they want to move forward with this project. Also think about other staff members that you think might want to learn more and improve their professional skills. It's also time maybe to have an open discussion with all of your staff and This may sound corny, but it's worked in a lot of the practices for me. I would hang fun facts around the office in various places, such as your bathrooms and your time clocks, places that everybody has to congregate at. And they learn from that, and it also spices up some open discussion. You also might think about, if you're not already doing like a weekly or a bi-weekly staff newsletter, sharing information and tips in that.
And Sandy, what about the physicians? They are so busy. How do we engage them?
Well, I think I'll turn that one over to Dr. Paul for obvious reasons.
Oh, my goodness. So you're putting me on the spot here, Sandy. So I think that beyond the office staff discussion, most practices are going to need a physician champion to support and influence the other clinicians with these changes. I also think that it's important to engage with our professional associations to stay on top of the changes as they take effect.
Well, these are great suggestions, and we should all remember the wide range of resources that are being rolled out by CMS to support this transition to the new value-based payment system. The quality improvement organizations, the practice transformation networks, and the soon-to-be opened MACRA TA resource centers are a few that I wanted to mention. Well, that concludes our MIPS tips for today, and thank you for watching the QPP News Team.